I would absolutely love it if we could talk a bit about chronically brown,
Yes.
because I remember coming across this and being like, this is the first organization, social media, anything I have seen particularly targeted to what you do. And
Mm,
I think you're right. And when you say that there's so much that we don't know, but also it's so fascinating because how has this not been done before? And I think I say that a lot about disability. And I think maybe that's because I'm a really gobby person and I find a bit like you, probably social justice. I can't compute why certain things
yeah.
are the way they are when they don't work.
Yeah.
But I would love it if you could like talk about it and about what it is, what it does, how it started, all of the good stuff.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think it's always been an assumption for disabled people that if nobody speaks up about it, then it's not needed. Um, but for us, we can't always verbalize the things that we need as well, or it's kind of harder to do so. Um, and I was starting to notice that on a different scale for South Asians, and that was like shortly after like chronic pain started for me. And I was trying to explain to like certain members of my family as well how like what that meant for me, um and how like it's not something that can be cured. It's not like as easy as taking some paracetamol and it's like all better now. Or I had one comment that was said that, oh, it's just growing pains, and I looked at them and I was like, I'm 21. I think I've done all the growing, and I know I'm 5'3", but well, actually, I'm 5'2" and like 3/4, and every part of your height counts when you're short.
I'm 5'3" as well, so I'm like, I'm 5'3" in a bit, on a good day.
Right? So I know I'm pretty short, but at the same time, like it didn't make any sense to say like, oh, it's growing pains. So trying to get that across them, I was really, really angry. And I think it was right at the beginning or just before the pandemic had like properly started, I guess. I decided to make social media accounts. I named them like a random name, which happened to be chronically brown. And I just started sharing what that experience is actually like so that my family members could follow it, know what it is that like in my day-to-day life, like some days I just can't move at all, or some days I have to take this medication. It's not a bad medication. It's just been stigmatized against.
Yeah.
That those kinds of things. But then I was also having like other South Asians come to me, and they're from usually from private accounts that didn't really share anything about their conditions or their disabilities, or impairments in that way, but they were sharing like basically their life story because they hadn't had anyone else to talk to about this stuff that they
Yeah.
could relate to, or they didn't feel safe enough to. So like from that, I decided like, I would ask them, can I share your story for you? It
Yeah.
doesn't need to have your name. It doesn't need to have like any way associated to you. You completely write it up, and I'll share it on your behalf. Or I would speak for them and I'll start sharing their story like it's almost like it's mine. But just so that they're able to see themselves in what's being shared, they
Mhm.
can feel less isolated from it and hopefully empower them to do the same as well. Um, because it's a little difficult for us because I come across lots of people that are in domestic abuse situations because of the fact that they are disabled, so they can't speak out about it.
Mhm.
Um, but on the other end as well, it's just like it's family members that are going, you don't need to talk about this because what will the neighbors say, or what will our friends down the road say, or what will they say at that wedding that we'll go to next week? They're consistently worried about the judgment from others, that they hide something that they don't know how to talk about. Um, or I guess can't see it from a positive light. They see it from this very stereotypical, that means you can't get married, you can't cook, you can't clean, you can't get a job. You'll always be reliant on us as parents, but we need you to be looking after us when we're old. So you're
Yeah.
just going to pretend that you don't have a disability.
Mhm.
Um, those are the realities. and I felt I was very in a privileged position that I know I won't experience any of those things. I was getting some backlash from what I was showing, but I wasn't getting major backlash that
Yeah.
anyone would stop me. So I just kept going with it. And since then, it's just kind of snowballed into something that we just we'll host monthly discussion groups, or we'll go to like specific exhibitions and we'll share our translation resources. Or we increased engagement on certain like usually health related research.
Yeah.
Um, but it's all to the betterment of helping South Asians to own disabilities and also
Yeah.
just speak out about them. And if the work specific services that we offer don't offer anything to them, we know that in the back of our heads, us being there is just as beneficial for them
Yeah.
because they don't see themselves as much. Um, and yeah, the only reason I say that is because, user led, it's pretty hard sometimes. It's really
Yeah.
hard being disabled and then also talking out and trying to help as much as you can to, which I'm sure you you already know. Like it's difficult sometimes, but I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
I think what you're doing is so important because I was having a conversation with a friend who's also quite big in the disability space, and she's doing some
Mm,
incredible stuff. And what we were talking about is how actually, particularly women, I mean, particularly women, but also actually when I think about it, also men as well. And that's not to like stereotype gender wise, but when we're talking about, the disability rights movement, it is very white.
mm,
It's very, very rare that in a roundtable talk about disability, everybody is represented. And I mean, that's all genders, all races, all types of sexuality, whoever you are. It's very, very rare that it's a diverse panel, which is so upsetting because
mm,
disability is the only thing that doesn't discriminate.
yeah,
Like, it doesn't matter who you are. At any point in time, you can become disabled. Like, regardless of who you are, it literally does not matter. There is no magic
yeah.
pill that you can take to stop you becoming disabled, whatever your disability may be. And I love what you do because you're really shining a light on that. And I like the fact that you're so unapologetic about it as well. You're like, actually, sorry, like you're not brown, so you can't come in. Like, because there's so many other barriers that other people face where the roles are reversed, that actually why take up the space. It's there. We're meant to all have a seat at the table, and if there isn't a seat at the table, like get on it and dance on the table instead.